And welcome to the Baltimore County Human Relations Commission Board meeting on November 9th, 2022. We're grateful that all of our commissioners who are here are present, and we're grateful to see our intern and executive director, Savitra People. I'm going to turn this part of the meeting over to our co-chair, Pat.
Great. Good evening, everyone. My name is Pat Isaac. I'm Commissioner Isaac for Baltimore County, and it's great to be here with all of you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, and those of you that are guests, thank you for joining us as well. I'm going to actually call the meeting to order at this time. So as we begin, what I would like to ask is a brief report from the Commissioner's District Report. So we will go ahead and actually dive right into reports. So who would like to begin?
This is Sheila Lewis.
Hi, Commissioner Lewis.
Hi. I am in District 2, but what I want to report on is not just in District 2, but it has an impact because I know I was involved. One thing I like to report on that I think is significant, and I had brought this up in the meeting several months ago when Troy Williams was the chief, was the lack of a food store in the Liberty Road corridor. And it was designated by FDA. When you go to the website, that area is designated as a food desert. And the community groups in this area have been working for a couple of years to get a food store there. The county finally was able to get a food market to come to that area, and it will be there. It will open in 2024 because they're going to tear down the old location and rebuild. And the food market is coming in. It's new for the East Coast, and a few people have heard of it, but it does have a good reputation, so we're very pleased about that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is on Tuesday, November the 15th. It's Tuesday. There's going to be a special news conference from the Education Justice Table. And this is a new coalition of different groups that have gotten together to bring to the attention and to lobby and to do whatever those groups do when they get together. The Baltimore County School Board regarding some conditions they found to be problematic and lacking in all schools. The violence, the education gap, discipline, resources that are available, particularly for we talk about magnet schools and that type of thing. And the coalition is composed of PAPSCO, League of Women Voters, Bridge Maryland, which is an education advocacy and lobbying group, St. Francis Academy, and the Randallstown NAACP. So that's all I have to report for what's going on near where I live.
Well, thank you so much for your report, Commissioner Lewis. Yeah, I actually was very, very excited when I heard, I am on Northwest's hospital board and have learned that they are also very involved in that community and trying to help the situation with the food desert issue that occurs there. And when I heard about the supermarket, I was super thrilled about that. I just feel like, we can all help that community to get to a better place together.
Also, I just wanted to say that I know that since Commissioner Lewis joined the board, that has definitely been one of her passions about that area. And to see that it is now coming to fruition, I am so happy for the community. But I'm also happy that the advantages bring not only just a food desert, but it will bring other resources as well. So I'm happy about that.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other commissioner district reports that you would like to share?
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry for being a few minutes late. I want to piggyback on. I'm sorry.
I said I wanted to say hello.
Hi, good evening, all. I just wanted to piggyback on the new market that's on Milford Mill. Yeah, it's something we've been advocating for a very long time, and it's just the beginning. We have so many other needs in that area and where I live, as well as Commissioner Lewis, I believe that's who was speaking in regards to the market. But in 2018, 4 markets were shut down in that area. 2 Giants, a Shopper, and a Food Line. So it really made it a food desert. And that's on the extreme end of Liberty Road. I live on the very end of Randallstown, or the beginning of Randallstown by Deer Park. And so there's a long stretch of no markets in that area. And, I work closely with the county executive, so they are working on it. They do have a committee, and we are holding them accountable. Everyone just got through the elections, were just held yesterday, so everyone is ready to move forward, and there's a lot of work to be done, but that's a great start.
Thank you.
Excuse me, can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
About the rally for the educational justice table. I told you it's on Tuesday, the 15th, and it will be held at the Union Bethel Church in the 6800 block of Church Lane, right there off of Old Court Road. And they're inviting anyone who wants to come and support their effort to please be present. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And maybe for a minute, we can send that out, as a note to everyone, so that hopefully we'll have some representation from our group here in the community. Thank you. Any additional commissioners report, district reports?
I see Commissioner Bryant, Nasrin had her hand up, and then Commissioner Bryant.
Yes, thank you so much. Commissioner Ramam?
Good evening, everyone. I'm just here to say something that I experienced during the election. I was a judge for the early and also for the final general election on yesterday. And I have had experience before with people behaving all kinds of stuff, like trying to shoot me and stuff like that. But this time it was totally different. It was such a horrifying experience I had. The 4 days I did for early, I actually didn't want to do it, but they are short of judges. So they kept on saying, come on, your experience, come on, let's go. And so I went. But people have been changed, and the mean attitudes towards the Muslims was so vivid, and they made no qualms about showing to me, telling me about it. One of my judge, who's just like me, was asking me 120 questions. How come I became a judge? He didn't ask others. Why was he asking me those kinds of questions? And the public. So it was very heartbreaking to see that. I thought we are moving forward. But it looks like they can't do some stuff with some people. Like now they can pick up other people, kind of. They couldn't tell that to African American in face or behave that way there. But they started picking like a person like me, with hijab. And it was horrifying. I've done almost 30 years of being judged with Board of Election, and to have that kind of behavior with the people, it was really, really heartbreaking and scary to know that where are we going? What is our agenda? What is going to happen to our next generation after us? You know what I mean? And I don't know the solution. I really don't know. We can still go and educate. I think one thing I will definitely talk with the director of election, Baltimore County, obviously, and tell them one thing: they have to educate the judges. They must educate the judges about other judges. They are all judges the same. There's no difference. We work 15 hours, 16 hours, straightforward, and I will start with her, of course, but I don't know. I'm just open for discussion, and let's see what you can say to make my heart a little bit feel better from my experience for the last few days of election being a judge.
Commissioner Rahman, thank you so much for sharing your experience. And I'm sorry that, you were, you had gone through that, situation. But I think, more importantly, thank you for your service, because that's really important. And we certainly will make a note of that, on our commissioner notes to see what can be done. Especially when people are volunteering their time, we need to make sure that they're feeling safe. So thank you so much for sharing. Commissioner Bryant.
Yes, thanks. First, I wanted to say I'm having a little trouble hearing Commissioner Rahman and also Brown Carter. I was having trouble. There seemed to be static. I don't know if that's my sound system or what, but I was having difficulty hearing both of them. I just had two announcements. I wanted everyone to know that the Maryland Commission on LGBTQ Affairs is getting organized, has been established. All the commissioners have been appointed. The first meeting was on the 7th, and we're just getting things off the ground, forming committees and that sort of thing. We'll be gathering public input as to what's needed to be done, and generally trying to make ourselves known around the state.
Wonderful. Thank you
Oh,
so
just
much.
one more thing. And I'll be sharing the link to the commission's website with Ramona so she can send that out.
Perfect.
Okay, the second thing is that the Marilyn Lynching Memorial Project is holding its 5th annual conference on Saturday the 12th at 9:30 at the Reginald Lewis Museum. Those are always interesting and heartwarming and moving. And it's not too late to register. I'll send that link out to Ramona also.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Commissioner Bryant. We appreciate all your involvement within the community and all that you do. Any other commissioner reports? Okay, Savitra, it looks like you have your hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I think as best practice, unless we are talking, that we place ourselves on mute. I, like Commissioner Bryan, was very challenging to hear when Commissioner Rahman, and there were actually a couple others. It was pretty difficult to hear. But I think if we all mute when we're not speaking, everyone will be able to hear clearly.
Thank you for those comments. Absolutely. Right. Before we move on, just one more motion. Any additional reports? Great. Thank you all so much for all that you do. We're going to go ahead and actually go into the next reporting, which is the executive staff report. Savitra and Ramona.
Okay, I talked about putting ourselves on mute, then had trouble coming off of mute. So as far as the updates, but before we get into that, I just wanted to kind of address some of the things that was shared on this evening. The grocery store initiative is a huge win. That has been something that has been on all of our radars since coming into the office. On the county executive's agenda since December 2018. So to be able to go into the next term with this, as a huge success, and it's just the one of many to come. So I appreciate hearing everyone's feedback and sharing of excitement. And I just wanted to convey that we are just as excited. Commissioner Rahman, I believe the gist of what you were saying is that unfortunately your experience as an election judge, just from engagement with the community, was not ideal. I would love to have an offline conversation to gather more information about what you experienced, and for us to work hand in hand with the director of boards of elections to make certain that every election judge, every election worker has a worthwhile, safe experience, because that's really what it's all about. All right.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. As far as updates, I wanted to first share that to address the recordings. So we are happy to convey that, at least from my tenure as acting, all recordings have been posted to the webpage. We continue to work um, expediently to place the other recordings or other meeting notes as we identify them that have already transpired. And ongoing, before the next meeting, the recording for the prior meeting will be posted. That would just be a standard practice. So we'll be all caught up, and that will be the expectation set. All right. We continue the great search for a permanent executive director. We hope to be able to announce it before, I think I always say before our next meeting, but definitely before our next meeting, and definitely now that the election is now behind us, and we all know that we're staying. So, which of course we never suspected. We're doing such great work. You all in your respective roles are doing an outstanding job. And, as we prepare for our December meeting, I want to just kind of put a brain teaser out. We are looking to update the or redefine the HRC's mission, vision, and objective. And so that would entail crafting a strategic plan, right? So there's lots of initiatives that I know you all may have done in the past and want to do in the future. And so, in order to ensure that we are hitting our mark and addressing the various community needs, identifying specific strategies to make certain that we have the necessary resources and support from other advocates throughout the county in a whole, would be my recommendation. And so Ramona and I will be working to prepare for that December meeting to provide you something tangible to review as we go forth into the new year.
Commissioner Ryan, do you have a
Yes, thanks.
question?
Could I also suggest that we consult with other human relations commissions around the state? I know the Howard County Human Relations Commission is very active there. And I think it might not be a bad idea to hear from them.
Right. So you're what I hear you saying is or suggesting is benchmarking, which we
Yes,
do each and
exactly.
every day. So yes, absolutely. Because we want to make certain that we are, above standard, right? That we are indeed putting forth best practices.
Mhm.
And I'm very eager. Ramona has heard my kind of moan and groan behind the scenes about, how my excitement to put forth new initiatives that could really bring the appropriate attention to the commission, right? Because there's there's Article 29 that defines its charge. And so there's certain things that we can also include to just further elevate and enhance what our how we go about meeting the charge, if you will, to just being very strategic in that manner. So again, I'm very, very excited. And I hope that you all are, just from hearing about it. As I mentioned, it was just a brain teaser, and then we are planning to have something more tangible to provide you at the upcoming December meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, Savitra.
You're
Wonderful.
welcome.
Thank you both for all of your efforts and all that you do in the community as well. Very active. Any additional, your hand is still up. Do you
Okay.
have other items that you want to share?
I have a few items that I wanted to just bring to everyone's attention.
Thank you.
You're welcome. As far as can everyone hear me? You can use the thumbs up icons just to make sure that we have a good connection. Great. As far as our office is concerned, we are continuing our efforts with the homelessness roundtable, and we are working as far as developing what the leadership looks like and what governance look like. And I am the chairperson for equity and racial disparities, and addressing equity and racial disparities. And so we are convening again on the 15th of next week so that we can continue our leadership work in that, so that we can branch out into what this new table will look like moving forward. On October 25th, we had an LGBTQ ally awareness training with the staff of Health and Human Services, and we sent out a invitation to 150, and we had about 100 people who attended. And we were still able to create a safe space. We were able to have conversations. They did send me the survey questionnaire responses, and a lot of people want to come back to being in person. So I'm not quite sure where we're going with that, but they had a wonderful time, and they were happy with what was developed out of that. On the 20th of October, the New Americans Advisory Group met. And this is a group of professionals who are concerned with welcoming our new neighbors and our new Americans into the county, and making sure that we're aware of what services are provided and are aware at that for them. We are continuing our efforts to see if we can reconvene the domestic violence conference. And so we're in the works of talking to see what that looks like. It's not domestic violence awareness conference, not just on domestic violence, right? But awareness and how that looks like. And we participated in that in the past. I believe Commissioner Rahman came with me to a few, and I am the chairperson for that, as well as the host coordinator as well. And then last but not least, we were a part of a social determinants of health group, and we were trying to figure out how we can pull out specific data as far as what is needed. We were looking at social deterrence, and we're looking at what we need to pull as far as the community, the resources that are available, the resources that are tangible, what is needed in the future, what data can we get our hands on right now to prove what is necessary. And so we're continuing our efforts to work on that. Last but not least, we did receive the hate bias crimes report, and I'm just going to summarize. We received the report, and there was, give me 1 second. There were 4 reported for the month of October. So we're still in a good place where people are still reporting. We're not just not getting anything, because we know that these things happen. We know that the community is experiencing difficulties, just like Commissioner Rahman reported a discrimination as far as her being a Muslim faith and wearing a hijab, how that can bring a part that is a hate bias incident, right? And what should have been done was made the police aware of the behavior in that particular area. You just because you sit on the board does not mean that you are exempt from these kinds of behaviors. And so we need to, just like you addressed it here, and just like Savitra said that she's going to take it and have another conversation with you. We just want you to understand that when things like that happen, it's not, I can't believe it happened to me. It is happening. It is real. And this is why this board is needed, and the work that we do is effective. That's it for me. I just wanted to also just say that just in agreement with Savitra, we are working hard behind the scenes trying to get things together, and trying to get our board up and running in the way that it is supposed to run. And her time with us has been completely valuable. And so we just want to again publicly thank her for stepping in and taking us to this next level. And I'm excited to see what this next 30 days or however long we may have her will looks like. And we're excited about that.
Thank you, Ramona, and thank you, Savitra, for all that you're doing. And you are totally making a difference. I know from the time that I started on the board to now, wow, what amazing efforts you have done in our community. And thank you, thank you. And Commissioner Bryant, it looks like you have your hand up. Do you have a question for us?
Yes, I wanted to ask Ramona if she could share whatever information she can from her LGBTQ session. I'd appreciate that very much.
I made the slide PDF and I forgot to send it to you. I will send it to you tonight.
Great. Thank you, Ramona.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move into good and welfare from our board members. I want to share something that within the community that we were speaking about earlier. Northwest Hospital actually has noticed that there is a real need out there for mental health and awareness, as well as mental health, behavioral. So they actually opened up additional beds within the last month to be able to accommodate the needs of that community. And so I just wanted to bring that forth because I know that that is a concern with all communities. But it's just wonderful to see when, people within the community respond to our needs. So just wanted to bring that out there. Any additional good and welfare reporting? Commissioner Blount?
Yes, good evening. There's a couple of things, I don't know if you guys mentioned it, but the county executive did start up the Police Accountability Board through all the districts in Baltimore County, something that came out of a police reform. So it is up and running. Actually, a member that lives in my community is one of the board members. So we're glad to see that's up and running. The other thing that just got started last week, and I was just appointed to, I am now a commissioner for the Veterans Affairs. So the Veteran Affairs have just got started, something we've been advocating for a long time. It's been dormant in Baltimore County for 8 years, 8 to 10 years, and now we do have the commission up and running again. And I'm just so happy. I am a retired military man, and just so happy that this has finally come to fruition. So the Veterans Administration's Commission is up and running, and we will be starting off this Friday at Garrison Forest, representing the county at their annual event for the veterans this weekend.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Blount, for your report, and congratulations, and thank you for serving. We appreciate you. And Sumitra, do you have a question for us?
I just wanted to first say thank you, just to go back a few statements ago. It's definitely my pleasure of serving, but to just salute and give thanks to Commissioner Blount for his service and all, who have served our country. It's, by a great timing for the Veterans Commission to begin, especially with Veterans Day being this Friday. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate it. Any additional good and welfare from our board members? All right. So that actually ends our meeting this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and actually formally close the meeting. So I would like to have a motion to close, and reminding everyone that our next meeting will be in December. I know one of the discussions that Commissioner Rahman brought is, are we going to have a holiday type of exchange? So that is something that we need to figure out really quick. So what I will ask is if you would kindly just let Ramona know what your thoughts are on that. And we will go ahead and gather your thoughts, and we'll let you know what everyone's consensus is regarding that meeting and the exchange. Is that fair? Wonderful. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and actually ask for a motion to close the meeting this evening.
This is Commissioner Lewis, and I put my hand up.
Hi,
Because
I'm sorry.
Before we close the meeting, I do have a couple questions.
Second it,
Please, absolutely,
and
have
I
a couple
assume Rahman seconded.
absolutely.
Okay. I wanted to bring up the calendar for the
Yes.
year. And I was wondering if possibly, if not by next meeting, it's kind of fast, but at least in the January meeting, if we could get a calendar of events. Because I remember in the past couple of years, and I know the pandemic complicated that kind of thing, but when we got around to Unity Day, I mean, it was so fast on us that we really didn't have a chance to plan and that kind of thing. And if we could get a calendar of events that either we would have to plan or maybe that we would want to be a part of, to send a representative to, that we can like put it in our calendar so that it's not like such a last minute thing. And the other thing I wanted to ask about, and this is what I know Ramona knows about the code meetings, because they had talked about that training, and if there were any we could do about getting some of that training for some of the commissioners or something, so we can do something about the bystander training from code. That's the only thing I wanted to, put in there that I would like to see if we can get done. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis.
Now-
Absolutely.
If no one else has anything to say, I will offer the motion for adjournment, but I don't want to cut anyone off.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'm not sure if Commissioner Rahman has a question or a motion.
She was
I was
second.
second and saying, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So we will close the meeting for this evening. Thank you all so much for your time and all of your efforts, and we appreciate everything that you do within our community. Each and every one of you is valued. We appreciate you. Have a good evening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks. Take care. Good night, everyone.
And be
Good
safe.
night.
Be
Thank
safe,
you,
everyone.
King, for signing.
Good night.
Hey, Ramona, have you stopped recording? Okay, because I thought